Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another Ford Fusion video. Hold on, I'm just getting my glove on here. It's a little chilly here in Canada, Nova Scotia. Winter is very clearly here, I think would be to say the least, and it is Boxing Day, so Merry belated Christmas and happy holidays to everybody. So I figured I'd give an update on the Ford Fusion and how it does in the snow and colder conditions. I actually had the car charging, which technically you're not supposed to do, but anyways, it is charging. If you do charge it, if you own a 2019 and 20 Energy with the recall, I'd probably suggest only going to like 60-70% charge, just so that way the battery technically can't become overcharged, because I know once they do replace the battery, they're limiting the charge to 80%. So probably a good rule of thumb, which the odd time I do charge it, that's what I do. So for this video, just going to talk about how does the car perform in the winter, how's the miles per gallon, and all that fun jazz. So overall, and I'm going to compare it a lot to the Crown Vic, because obviously that's what I came from, the car is pretty solid in the snow. I will say getting up and going from a stop and starting on a hill is quite a bit easier because it is front wheel drive, and obviously that is more accurate. It has more weight on the drive wheels and everything, so it's easier to get up and going from a stop versus, say, the Crown Vic. Both cars, believe it or not, weigh about the same weight, around 3,800 to 3,900 pounds. Both the Crown Vic and this Ford Fusion Energi weigh about the same weight, so they're pretty similar in that aspect. Now, where the Crown Vic did a lot better is, see this? Sits much lower to the ground than the Crown Vic. So by the time you get to about 15 centimeters or so, you're starting to drag the car. Right over there is where the snow will really start to drag. So you can still get through it, no problem. I got through 22, 23 centimeters the other day, but it will struggle a little bit more in that deep snow than what a Crown Vic would. But in saying that, if you do have to come to a stop, it's easier to get up and going in this. So I would get the victory to the Crown Vic overall in the winter, I would say, just because it's got limited slip rear differential and it had more ride height. But overall, this car is still very competent in the winter. Neither of them were bad at all. At the end of the day, guys, just get yourself a good set of Michelins or Blizzaks or something like that and run them in the winter. You're not going to have problems regardless if you have a rear wheel drive, as long as it's high enough up off the ground like the Vic was, or a heavier front wheel drive car. You're really not going to have too many issues. I've had a couple of snowstorms already. As you guys can see, there's snow down on the ground everywhere. So as far as the miles per gallon go, in the summer, I'd easily get anywhere from 40 to about 45 mile per gallon just running it on gas or regular hybrid mode only. So very good fuel mileage overall. The highway was always a little less, at about 39, I would say. Now that the winter's here, the battery obviously struggles a bit more because the battery runs the heater and all of that. So the heater in these cars are electric and regular coolant based temp. So the electric motor, or the resistive heater, will heat up the coolant in the area really quick, so you pretty much start getting heat immediately the second you turn on the heater, which is awesome, because compared to the Crown Vic, you had to wait like 10 minutes before you'd even start getting a whiff of warm air. So you pretty much have immediate heat as soon as you turn the car on. Within about 30 seconds, you'll start getting warm air, which is awesome. But like I said, that resistive heater does use a lot of power. So because it's a hybrid battery and hybrid systems, regardless if it's a Toyota, Hyundai, Ford, whatever, you do lose a bit of mile per gallon in performance in the winter. So my mile per gallon driving it on gas, regular hybrid mode only, has dipped probably down to about 36, 37 miles per gallon, which, don't get me wrong, is still very good. But like I said, you definitely do lose some of that overall mile per gallon. You're probably losing a good 10 to 15%. And if you drive it on electric only mode with the heater on, you're probably losing about half your range. So you're going from about 37, 38 kilometers down to 19 to 20 kilometers has been my experience, especially if you drive with the heater on. If you drive without the heater on and it's so cold outside, my experience is you're probably going to get about 28, 29 kilometers. So you're still losing about 20, 25% of your range overall. So it is kind of interesting to see how that operates, but I figure that'd be a good tidbit for you guys, both whether you're going for a regular electric car, plug-in hybrid, or even a regular hybrid. Do expect to lose some mile per gallon when the cold air strikes. But like I said, I'm still getting 37 mile per gallon, 36, 37 mile per gallon. That's still way more than double what the Crown Vic could ever pray to hit. It's very nice going to the fuel pump and You really don't have to put a whole lot into it gas-wise. I fill up about every 3 weeks maybe, and it really doesn't cost me a whole lot. Fuel range wise, so this car has a 40-liter tank in it, which I believe is about 11. It's 11 or 12 gallons US, I believe, is the tank size, so not very big at all. Um, in the summer, I was able to get about 800 to 830 kilometers per tank just on the regular gas hybrid mode. In the wintertime, it's dropped down to about 600 to 650, give or take, somewhere in between that range. And my drives are generally short, so obviously the car has to get up to normal operating temperature, which it can do a lot faster in the summer, whereas in winter, it's going to take a little bit longer. So for me, it eats a bit more of my range than it would for the average person that probably has a 20-minute drive, 15-20-minute drive to work. Mine's only a 5 to 7-minute drive to work, so it eats away my range a little bit more than it would the average person. But overall, my experience has been good. The car is absolutely filthy right now because, like I said, we've had a couple of snowstorms recently, and it's been too cold to even bother washing the car because you're just going to drive out and it's going to be filthy within 3 seconds again. And I know you're supposed to wash the car once a week pretty much in the winter, but guys, when the roads are this salty, there's honestly no point in washing your car and driving 10 minutes back home. It's going to be exactly the same. So it is supposed to rain a little bit later this week and actually get up to +5, +6. That's probably when I'll wash the car and get all the salt off it and whatnot. But overall, the experience has been good. Like I said, I've driven nothing but the rear wheel drives pretty much for the last 10 years. And my experience with the Grand Marquis and Crown Vics is also good. But like I said, this is a little bit different now, going to a front-wheel drive based car, and also semi-electric in that sense. So just that is kind of a bit of my experience. Car's been very reliable. I put 6,100 kilometers on it now since I purchased it back in July. Have had no problems whatsoever, knock on wood. But the car's been very reliable. It's literally just start up, go, drive. Don't have to worry about anything. And like I said, these have the Toyota-based hybrid system and engine and all that. You really don't have to worry about anything. Those systems are proven reliable to have 400,000 miles on them without any issues with the engine or transmission or really any of the drivetrain components like that. It's a very proven system. It is a very reliable car, much like the Crown Vic was in its own way. These are also super duper reliable. Like I said, don't regret my choice at all. But yes, that is kind of the winter update for this. Really, no problems, guys. Like I said, the only downside is with this is it is a little bit lower to the ground, the Crown Vic. The Crown Vic probably, for that rocker panel is there, the Crown Vic probably sat up about here. So they said there was a bit more ride height on the Crown Vic, which definitely is advantageous in the deep snow. But like I said, I really haven't had any problems yet, to be honest. But like I said, that extra ride height does help in those deep snow situations. Otherwise, guys, like I said, car's been great. Once the warmer weather comes, going to get a transmission fluid change done on it, the cabin air filter and the regular air filter, and then soon here, probably within the next month or two, I'm going to get an oil change on it. Just for reference, I've driven 6,100 kilometers, and my car tells me over 3,000 of those, whether it's been from the plug-in or the regular regenerative braking, has been in electric mode. So that's pretty insane to think about. So even though I've driven 6,000 kilometers, the engine's only been on for 3,000 of those. And that's why with the hybrid car, the wear is a lot less than what it would be with an internal combustion engine car. But like I said, that's not take away from internal combustion engine cars at all. There's many out there that last the test of time. Crown Vic, Panther platforms. Like I said, you got the Camrys out there, the Corollas. There's so many engines out there that are well proven to also do 300,000 miles. Like I said, this is just a different form of car, and that's really just comparing apples to oranges at the end of the day. You drive what you want, drive what you like, and drive what makes sense. Thank you all for tuning in to another video, and see you all for the next one.